Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I thought we would work on a journal that I want to make today and get a start on it. So I want to make a big top PeeWee journal. This is this is going to be the book base. This grungy old German book. It had beautiful old writing in it, which I've saved for other projects unrelated to this. I will also save these little bits and throw them in my scraps over there. So I'm just going to kind of strip a little bit of the innards off here that we don't need. That's a cool piece of paper. So this is pretty good, ready to go. I'm going to be covering it entirely. So you can see that this book has seen better days, but that it was re-spined. It was put together by a library, I think. And so, yeah, it was just, I don't know what any of this means, but yeah. So it's a book base that I want to use. Nice little size. And then this is a big top PeeWee movie storybook. So I'm not going to make this into a storybook journal necessarily. It would be too difficult, and I'll show you why. You would need multiple copies of this book if you wanted to do that, which it's not very hard to, it's not very easy to find because this is a 1988 Paramount Pictures release. So you see how the text is here, and there's a picture. It's both sides, and it's also super all over the place. So you would, if you wanted to make a storybook journal with this, you'd need to use a book that is the same size as this original. So like you could make a storybook journal if you use the original cover, but I don't want to make one so huge because there's not like enough content, I think, to do that. I don't know that I'll use everything in this book. I'm kind of mostly wanting to use PeeWee images and maybe some other storytelling kind of images like this one. So yeah, for those of you who haven't seen the Big Top PeeWee movie, I highly recommend it. I like Paul Rubens. I like Big Top PeeWee. I think it's a lot of fun. PeeWee movies were fun. I grew up on PeeWee's Playhouse. Always loved it. So this, we'll set this aside, and we'll set this aside for now because we need to just, I want to use this front cover image. So I'm going to start by just cutting the book apart. Okay, don't need that. We do need this though. So what I typically do is I just use my I use a blade, and you're going to score it because this is like a plasticized cover kind of image, and it's separate from the cardboard that makes up the actual book cover. Now that being said, this is a nice book cover too. You could obviously use it to, you could cut it up to make smaller books. You could cut it up to make spines. I'm just not saving this particular one because I don't feel like I need to. I have so much that I don't need. So the first thing I want to take is this image. So then you just kind of peel up and get a sense, is it going to lift, and is it going to lift all the way? If it starts to feel like it's getting thin and you feel like you're impacting the image, stop and go to the other side and try to establish like a deeper score. Because then you'll get another layer of like the cardboard or whatever, and you won't tear into your image. But this one came off very cleanly. And this is, I would say, a very typical experience. So that's part one. Then part two of what I want is that Big Top PeeWee banner. So same process here, we're just scoring. And I'm going to come on over here, pop the knife under my score like I did with the other one. Oops. Get under there. And see, that one went a little deeper. It's just all about how deeply you score. Then we have this nice yellow. Yellow really has inspired me here. Just looking to see what's on here. I don't think I need anything. I don't think I need that. Yeah. So we'll just get rid of the rest of this. So now we've got those assets there for our book. Okay. So I have this big piece of yellow felt, and it's really soft and nice. And I thought it would be a lot of fun as the cover of this book. So I want to cut 2 pieces so I can get the inside and the outside of this yellow felt. So we'll go to here and just kind of like lay the book down, and you'll give, you know, a little extra. So I'm going to just kind of put it down here like so, and I'm going to start my cut here, and I'm going to go right across. And we need to flip it out and unfold it a little. Okay. So we know that's one. Wait, hold on. 1 to there. A little extra to here, we'll say. Okay. Put that off. Oh, these photo corners are getting in the way. I keep them on my desk because I've been trying to use them up, but they're in my way. Okay, now we'll come up from here. There we go. So now this can all go back to my stash of fabric stuff. Try to keep it neat so we can put it away neatly. And I highly recommend, if you're like a fabric person like me, wow, that is so bright. I'm going to take it off screen because it's so bright. Is if you have like fabric that you have cut into versus what you haven't, try to keep it separate, because it would be very disappointing if you came across this lovely, what seems like a huge piece, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is cut into. So, all right, give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to put this away. Okay. So now we'll grab the book cover and the book here and the fabric here. So what I'm going to do, I want to attach this to this. So we're just going to glue stick it on. And when I say just glue stick it on, I'm using a high quality glue stick that actually works on both fabric and paper. So I won't recommend my glue because I don't know that you'd be able to really find it. It is Office Mate glue stick, and it is like a more heavy duty glue stick, but I get it from my husband, who works in an industrial supply setting, so he can get kind of stuff that the public can't really. So I don't know where you would buy this. Possibly Staples. I don't know if they sell Office Mate. Okay, so we're going to put this down here, and I'll leave a little bit of extra. Okay. And I knew I was going to have like excess extra. That was by intention. I wanted to cut some of this off with this because I'm going to use it for like other accents inside the journal, because like the yellow I think is an important part of this whole aesthetic. So let's just go ahead and we'll just kind of cut that excess off. Go all the way down. Okay, and I'll stop there. We'll get to it. Now let's do the front of the book. Now, if this were a thinner fabric, not a felt, I would be covering up this spine here with something like a solid colored paper, because I wouldn't want it to show through the fabric. But this is a thick felt, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. So being quite generous with the glue, you see there's a lot there. It's quite saturated because I want the felt to just drink up the glue and stick well. So we flip this right over, And then just pick it up again and sort of straighten it out and give it a press. And then that is what we're going to have. So you can't see the text at all here. At least I can't. I do see the border. This looks so blinding on my camera. I hope it's not as bad for you. If it is, I seriously apologize. But yeah, we need a nice bright yellow. Okay, so there's that strip. That'll become part of our assets. And I should get my little... So when I get going on a journal, I get this thing, and I just use it to organize my things. So this is for the cover, and that'll be a bit for later. Okay. And then we need to go over here, and we're going to even this up too. And I'm not going to cut the excess all the way off. I'm going to leave a little bit because I might need it. Okay, that's that. So now this book is covered. So, oh, there is the text. You see that? You can see that. Now, it depends. What way am I going to fold this, though? Yeah, I think I'll put it inside, so you won't even see it because the binding will be there, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch a line all the way around this book cover. Not through the cover, because I think this cover, well, actually, this cover would let me, but I probably won't. I'm going to go right around as close up to the edge as I can, just a little slowly, and I'm going to stitch all the way around it. Okay, SpongeBob is back here. So we're all stitched around, and you'll see that I also stitched down where the spine is against the inner side of the two book boards, right? So spine will be here. And I do that just because, like, if you look on the outside, how neatly that looks. So the outer side thread I have is a yellow here, and then I flipped to use the blue on the outside and the yellow on the inside. So this will be the inside of the book, but I like having that nice blue line there, but I didn't necessarily want it on the spine. I just wanted the continuity there. So now what we're going to do, I got to trim these threads. I ran out of thread, so I had to rethread my machine. So just kind of trim all the excess threads. I always backstitch at the end of and the beginning of every bit of stitching that I do. So that will, you know, trap your ends so nothing undoes. Okay, so now we just got to trim around the excess. Now, the other thing about books like this, these are a really good opportunity if you want to have like a raggedy edge. Like if you were sewing, say, like a foresty book and you used like a mossy fabric, maybe you would want it to be very irregular like this. And then you could go around several more times with stitching and like brown or something to create a different kind of look. But that's not what we're doing here. What I want is kind of a relatively, you know, straight geometric kind of book. But also very soft and cuddly. I just gotta fix this one little, there we go. A little titch more. Perfect. Okay. So that's that side. I'm not gonna trim this side that I had on the fold because it's perfect. Now we're going to do the same here. We're leaving about a 1/4 inch, not quite, maybe a little less. And the reason that you don't go all the way up to your stitching is, number one, you'll undo it, but also, like, if you had a book that you had been able to stitch through, you'd kind of want to do the same, because then you're going to expose the edges of the book if you go too close. Okay, so now we have this. We know that this is inside. And actually this text, this, you know, you can't read it, but it's nice to kind of have it there because I know that's what I'm going to be stitching through. So now I've got my cover. Oh, that is a really nice cover. I need to work with covers like made from felt more often. That's nice. I wish you guys could feel this. Oh, SpongeBob, you're so bright. Okay, let's move this off for a moment. Now, this is where we're going to do the hard part, which is kind of the book the book, right, itself. So typically what I try to do is I go into books like this and I see like what kind of pages could I keep, could I use in the book without, I'm not making ephemera, I'm just using the pages. But this book, for a couple reasons, won't work that way. Number one, it's way too big and the content's all over the place, like I told you. And when you look at the size of the book, right, you know you're going to be cutting into senseless content. The other thing is I don't know if you can see here, but these are all stitched together in a funny way. So it's glued, it's kind of put together like a magazine, but the pages themselves are not attached at all. So it's kind of a useless feat. So I am going to take this and this, and these I think can be nice pages for the book that will fold in half, right? They're kind of cool. And they're yellow, nice yellow. And they're a little like, you know, vintagey and manky. I like that. So those will become pages. Now, we've got this. I want to use in some way, possibly as a page, because it could be a center page. We could cut it here because see the back is blank. So we could do something like even a pocket, or I could just cut all this stuff off and then it would just be a nice smaller page, maybe for like the center of the book, you know, like in the middle, the little that little fun special page that you can put in the middle of a signature. So why don't we just prep that now and say we know what it is, we know what it's going to be. So that now becomes like a piece of the ephemera. So we'll plunk that in here. So here is PeeWee with his pig. Its name is Vance. It's time to get up on PeeWee's farm. Hey Vance, cries PeeWee, don't hog the bed. Wake up, Vance. Vance. So now we need to decide what we want to use. So like, I really love this picture of PeeWee on his tractor, but I'm kind of like, this pig image. But you know, this is where you sort of stop and go, am I going to have another good pig image? There's one, there's one. So I think this is more of like an overall PeeWee brand kind of image. So I'm going to go with that one. So at this stage of the game, I am just going to cut this out. Pee-wee Herman had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Vance and Pee-wee are on their way to wake up the animals. A farm is no fun if the animals are all asleep. Pee-wee wakes up the horses and the cows and the sheep and the goats, and be sure to make your beds, he tells them. So I'm going to cut that out. I know what it's going to be. This is going to be, you know, this is so cute with this goat. So yeah, we're going to use that. So what I'm also going to do is, you know, there's all of these text snippets, okay? And I am just going to keep these scraps as messy scraps, because then we can come back and farm from them words and things that we might want to use, okay? There could even be like partial images that you end up using in a collage, but it doesn't become like evident to you in this first bit of process that you're going to use them. So now we decide, I like this because look at this little bird. Oh my gosh. I like the cow. I also like this. This is fun. So I think we can get all three of those. So again, we wreck the pig image. That's okay though. So cut this one out. And this one. And it helps if you're in a space where you've got good lighting, because you can see as you're cutting what's on the other side. So if you're trying to do images on both sides like I am, then, you know, it's easier. I'm going to cut that way. And again, messy scrap. And I can cut this down. Like, I know I'm not going to use this bit, but I potentially might use these words. Okay, so there's a good pig image. There's a good pig image. I'm hungry, grumbles Vance. What are we doing for lunch? Let me check my date book, says PeeWee. On every page it reads, lunch with Winnie. I guess we're having lunch with Winnie, declares PeeWee brightly. Hey, PeeWee, let's race to town, says Vance. The pig wins. You cheated, complains PeeWee. You've got more legs than me. This is cute. Winnie thinks she's made PeeWee's favorite lunch. He tries to guess what it is. Fried chicken? No. Hamburgers? No. Cheese sandwich? No. Winnie has made egg salad sandwiches. Egg salad, my favorite, lies PeeWee. He hates egg salad sandwiches, but doesn't want to hurt Winnie's feelings. Okay. So, sadly, this image, I think I like this one better. It's so cute, PeeWee plus Winnie. So I think we're going to end up with, I don't know that I need him eating egg salad, but the pig and the flower I will go for. So let's retain that one. And this one. And also, if I want him eating egg salad, I've got it. But let's put it in the scraps because I don't see it as foundational to needing it in the story. Okay, so here we have an image that is like both, you know, pages. So at this stage, it's a cool image. I would like to have it as a page in the journal. And I'm just going to decide, do I care about these images? So like this one I think is really good for the book. This one, okay. That's pretty cool. And then this cow birthday party is kind of cute, but I think I would like the bigger of the images. And I would like to determine if I can also have that one. We probably can. This is just going to be a little bit of collaging. So I need to find a washi tape or a tape that makes sense here. And I can also trim this if I want to, but I don't think I will. I think I will leave it as is. So I'm torn between, you know what, I think I might use my, yeah. So I have this really good tape. This is Studio Invisible tape. It's a really good tape. I got it at an art store that closed down, but it's a really strong, good tape for this kind of thing. And it's nice that it's clear because, like washi, it's not gonna cover anything. It's not gonna mark things up. I think this is similar to like a library tape that like libraries use to fix things. It's just a good, clear and thick tape. So I'll come over here, cut that off. And this off. There we go. So now I need to understand my measurement, right? What am I going to be able to include here? So let's just do a general idea. And then, you know, if we flip over, yeah, I'm still getting that, but my pig gets cut off, which tells me I want to turn that into a tip out. But the other side, I probably will be fine to trim. Although the cow is pretty darn cute. So, you know what we do? This is where we measure. And this is where you're making kind of the best material you can for your book. So we have, I would say this book is just head on like 5 inches this way. So I would say we would go 4.5 wide and we've got 7.5 tall. So let's decide how to tackle this here. So on this side, I know I can get rid of this bottom because on the back it's just text. And we know we're not using all the text. So we'll fold this way. So we're at 8.5. I still need to trim 1 inch, and I think I'll do the other inch from here. But I need to look because it could impact this. We said 7.5. So it's okay on that side. What about on this side? 7.5. Yeah, it's okay on that side, I think. Well, we do cut PeeWee's head off on that side, but I don't care. I kind of just really want the cow. Let's just be brave. Okay. So now we know that we've got, what did I say? 4.5 this way, right? I'm just going to make a tiny little boop. So just a tiny little cut, and that's going to tell me where to fold this. Okay. And over here the same, where to fold it. And now you can decide for both your flaps. Do I want to cut more off the flap or not? So I would say, yeah, I can cut, I'm going to be covering this part, so I want to cut just up to the cow, I think. Because we probably don't care about this image, right? Let me see. Yeah, I'm not really into that. I don't care. So we can cut right up to the cow on this side. And then over here, We've got the pig right on the edge there, so I don't think I want to cut away at that. No, I don't. But we're going to be needing, so what I anticipate, I'm going to cover this whole thing with something else. Over here, I'm going to cover all of the, well, actually, no, not that, just this. This is going to be something covered up, be it paint, collage, whatever. This will get covered because it's quite boring, I think. Maybe, maybe not. It's kind of part of the image. Over here, this will stay, but I'll probably cover this entirely, all of this section. So we'll just have the cow in the corner and, you know, the rest will be covered. And sometimes you do that because it's just such a fun part of the book. You really want to retain it. So let's take this as a signature folio. And it can just go right in here because it's the same kind of thing. So let's make a section for folios, right? So these are both folios, but we know that they're going to need work. Then just kind of check these over. There are words, so I'll keep that. Okay, back to the book. So on this page we have, the storm has blown an entire circus onto PeeWee's farm. Don't just stand there. Come on and help, cries Andy, one of the circus performers. We have a lion here. Most people would be afraid of a roaring lion, but PeeWee knows how to handle this one. Who's that fluffy kitty, he coos. Yes, you are, and a pretty kitty. And soon, Sudan the lion is back in his cage. Okay. And then we have this guy. I forget the name of this actor. Is it Chris Christopherson? Andy takes PeeWee to meet the owner of the circus, Mace Montana. Are you okay, boss? Andy asks. Well, my shins are banged up pretty bad, says Mace. I think my ribs are all broken, but I'm circus. Come on, let's get to work. So that's kind of funny. So, you know, I think what I would like to do with this is basically, I'm going to cut it into two, like this. And these are going to become assets that I want to keep together. So I'm going to create ephemera where I use this with this word snippet and that with that word snippet. Obviously, you know, you could do something different with the back. You could probably use that as like a folio with the cover. Now, lots of interesting folks perform in Cabrini Circus. PeeWee meets Snowball the Clown, Duke the Dog-Faced Boy, and Mace Montana's wife, Midge, who is only 6 inches tall. And then we have the love interest here. This is Gina, the beautiful trapeze artist. When PeeWee sees her, it's love at first sight and at second sight. But I love these faces, and I think they're going to just all become like individual, like tuck spots, journal cards, those kind of things. You could decide if you wanted to also cut the names out, like Snowball the Clown, and you could put that underneath here. But I don't necessarily want to do that. I'm fine. I'm not trying to tell an exact story. We don't need to know that she's Midge. She can just become a character in this book. But I'll keep this around here in case. Okay, everybody, listen up. Shouts Mace. We've had a bad day, but we've gotten through bad days before because we're circus, and tonight the show must go on. Let's move out, Mace cries. The circus parade heads into town to let everyone know they are there. And then on the back we've got this. This is a good image for the book, I think. But when they arrive in town, all the townspeople tell them to go away. We don't want it, they cry. We don't want a circus here. They tear down the circus posters. So that's a good image. Also, I love this lady. I forget this actress's name. I think she maybe passed away a couple years ago, but she always played the most gruesome characters. Like, I'm trying to... None of the movies I'm thinking of are appropriate to talk about here, but like one of them was like that was it a bowling movie? It was a comedy. It was based on like two men that were like bowling, and she was like the not so beautiful love interest, and I think maybe she was also in that film Throw Mama from the Train. I don't know. She always had like, or she, I don't know if she played the character, there's like a movie with like an evil, well, not an evil, like everyone thinks she's evil. She's like a school matron, and then she ends up being nice, and I can't remember the name, but she's just played these funny roles where they'll give her like a big hairy mole on her face or something. Like, I like her a lot because she's the kind of actress where like she puts everything that is like, you know, about beauty or about like, you know, the myth of like what women are good at. She puts all that aside and she just shows like she's so awesome. Like, it's great. So with this one, I think I would like to use it as a page, but I know probably on back I'm going to have to cover it up. So now it's just deciding, do I want the text as part of this? that would probably be kind of cool. So I think what I'll do is I'll just trim this down to the right size, which is 7.5. I'm gonna use this edge, and I'm gonna just take the book number off. I'm gonna trim just this little titch of an edge here, so it's neat, and then we're gonna go to 7.5 here. So now we have this nice neat page. I want it to probably fold this way. I mean, it could go both actually, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna just fold it this way maybe, because then I can decide what I want to do with the back. Probably I will cover the back, because obviously he's lost his head, but we could keep this. That would be kind of cool. You know, so if we ended up doing this, you'd still get that there, and then I can cover the top, even with a tuck spot. So that becomes folio. We'll put that back. Okay. PeeWee invites the circus people to stay on his farm while they decide what to do next. They make themselves at home. In the morning, the giraffe decides to take the place of PeeWee's rooster. PeeWee can't get to the sink because the bearded lady needs a trim. Goodness. And then Zsa Zsa the hippo has taken a liking to Vance. Uh-oh, Vance, better start running. So I kind of love that, but if we were to fold it, would I still get, yes, I would. Perfect. I would still get PeeWee with the giraffe coming in the window. So now I'm gonna trim that down, and we're probably gonna like cover some of it up, but I want to use some of it as well because I want to keep the pig. So cute. So now let's just trim off the page number because we're trying to maintain as much of the page as we can. Okay, then I can go 7.5 this way, I think. Let me just double check. No, I can't. No, I can't. It's got to trim from the bottom. We'll take this off the top a little bit. Okay. And then down here's the 7.5. And we'll just double check. Yeah, that's fine. And then again, I'll keep this here because I might... I mean, this is also an opportunity where you can, yeah, you can decide, like, do I want to glue it now, right? Because I feel like these words are important to what's happening in the image. So we can go ahead and do that now. Glue. And I'll probably make this like a center image, because we want the pig and the hippo to be shown together, right? So it keeps the story together. So then, yeah, just plop that up here. And then, you know, you've told a story for one page, one image. It's kind of like a lighter way of doing a storybook journal, where you're not keeping the entire story intact, but you're keeping kind of the feeling there, you know? Oops, gonna just adjust this fold a tiny bit. There we go. Okay. So now here, I will more than likely just put a pocket or cover that in some way. And then over here, I'll probably do something. We'll see. There's lots of writing space though, so I could, again, just put a little image there. But that's a good folio. Okay, love this. The elephant helps out on PeeWee's farm. He's a good worker, says PeeWee, and he works for peanuts. Am I seeing double, PeeWee asks Mace. The answer is yes. Oh, I love this. Wow. Okay, I'm going to take a risk. I really want to keep this image. Love, love, love it. So we're going to just go as close as we can. That's that. Then, can I get this in some way? I don't want to cut through his head, but I don't want to lose the apple. So, like, let's just cut what we would like to have. Then, cut that off. And, you know, this could be a tuck spot, and I could choose to bring it down a little bit more maybe. Let's do that now. Yeah, so that could be like an upper tuck spot, okay? So I'll get rid of, well actually that can go in scrap. Then we have Gina here. Come on down, Gina, calls Mace. I want you to meet PeeWee. PeeWee's so overwhelmed by Gina's beauty, he faints. Okay, so there they are together. Maybe I should have maintained those 2 pages together. Del the human cannonball. I remember this. I don't know now what to do. I kind of want to keep that though. So let's bring it back together. Move this again. We'll put these pages back together. And actually, because I pulled them apart, I now have the opportunity. I can trim off this bit of white. Good. Sorry if I just freaked y'all out. I was going to chop my fingers off. Don't worry, my hand was under the arm. Okay. Good. I'll move this for a minute. Come back in with our tape. Put the picture back together. Yep. That's funny, they don't line up exactly because of the gap. We got to maintain a gap. You see that? Okay, so we're still going to do the exact same thing. And due to the gap, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Sorry, y'all, I just had to take a little break because my son came downstairs, and one of the trips that my my husband and my son went on today was to go to this amazing bakery we have in town and get these are Portuguese tarts, okay? So like you might know the standard Portuguese tart, which is what this is, with the amazing cream inside, but it also has pistachio cream and pistachios on top, and they're delectable. They're so good. This particular bakery has the best Portuguese tarts ever. They're little like phyllo layers are so individual and crispy, like they're not refrigerated, they're very fresh. Oh, they're amazing. Okay, so we're back to managing this tape. Something happened to the tart. I don't know. Let's not talk about it. Okay, let's trim these pieces of tape off. So both sides of this one are covered to maintain that gap but not have stickiness. Okay. So here's the image that we're trying to save, right? So we've got 7.5 tall, and I got to figure that out. We're going to go from the bottom. Now I want to keep Del the human cannonball, and I don't want to cut her face off. So let's see where 4.5 gets us. To here, okay. Now I think we can actually cut that, to be honest. So I can use that image in another spot, but this one is the trickier one, I think. Yeah, because that would cut her off. So I'd like to keep her, but I don't need all of that, so we can cut this off here. Okay, so that'll just be a small flap. Then over here, I've decided I will cut that off, so we don't need to have it. And I will keep him. That will become a piece of ephemera. So then we'll have this. I'll probably fold it that way though. So there she is. Yeah, and that works well. And then the only thing I have to worry about is covering this up in a nice way. I still get to keep the human cannonball though. And you know, I might actually just keep that there and then do something to cover just this little bit here and so on. We'll figure it out after. There's lots of options. But anyways, folio. Now we'll move on into the book again. I love that image. I'm on my way to a career in agriculture, PeeWee tells Mace, showing him his secret lab. I hope to be the next George Washington Carver. Do you know who he was? Sure I do, said Mace. He was the first president of the United States. PeeWee shows Mace his top secret experiment. First he makes Mace promise he won't tell anyone about it. I call it a hot dog tree, says PeeWee proudly, because, well, it's a hot dog tree. Okay, so definitely need this. So we're going to lose this. That's just how it is sometimes. Unless we made this into a tip out. Quite possible. Why don't we do that? Let's try to cut here. I'm looking through the light. Okay, I could probably do something with that. I don't need the smoochy picture. I think I'm good with that. I don't really need that either, to be honest. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so this is Winnie. Winnie is very mad. After all those egg salad sandwiches she made for PeeWee, he still loves Gina best. Okay. The circus performers go to town and eat and buy supplies, but the mean townspeople don't want to serve them anything. The Piccola brothers try to buy food at the general store. Sorry, says the store owner, all out. He puts up a closed sign even though it's 3:15 in the afternoon. Look at his eyebrow. Isn't that an amazing eyebrow? Okay. I want this image. I think this is really cool. I think it would be a good like center page probably. So where's my, I have no idea where my ruler is. Oh, here it is. It's just buried under the scraps as usual. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this off. Or do I want to keep that maybe? Maybe we should trim it down to the 7.5 and see what we get. Just clean this little edge off here. Now look at the back. Okay, what do we want to cut now? I want to keep this bit with Winnie. That's good. Yeah. And we could even keep like some of this if we wanted to. But this is going to be all about being a middle page signature. And you have to watch how many of those create because you can only have so many of those, right? When you have a certain size book. So here we have one that has to go in the center. That's 2. Let's just kind of see because that'll tell me what I'm allowed to do. So there's 3. That one, I said it doesn't matter. And 4. So that's all I can have, I think. Because I don't know. Maybe I could get 5 signatures. Yeah, I could get 5. We just got to be mindful as well. Because I don't want this to be like a big fatty Gator Math book. So we've got 4. I can have 1 more if I need to. If it's like epic, right? Okay. Winnie comes walking up to the general store. The Piccolopupilas tell her what happened in the store. I'll buy the groceries for you, Winnie tells them. Soon she comes walking out with 25 pounds of oatmeal, 25 gallons of orange juice, 30 cases of tomato soup, and everything else on the list. What an appetite on that girl, whispers a woman in the store. And you know, now that I pull this apart, that wasn't even binding. That's literally just glue that goes in the center of those little ribs. Okay, yeah, love this. PeeWee joins the circus people for dinner. Wow, look at his cheek. Gina has certainly left PeeWee something to remember her by. So this one, I really like it. I think it would be a good tag for the book. So I'm going to kind of prep it. Now I know I can't fit the entire size of this in here. So we're going to have to kind of lose his hands because I need this to be a little shorter. And then I'll go to here. Maybe I'll trim a little more off. We don't necessarily need this guy behind him. It's kind of distracting. Nothing good on the back of those. I think I want to keep this little bit of the storyline. Sorry guys, my battery died. I think I lost a little bit of footage there. I'll just show you real quick what you missed. So essentially I cut this out and I cut these images out of him like trapezing around. That's all we did. No worries. It was kind of quick. I didn't realize my battery was low. So then these are awesome. They're like human cannonball images. So I definitely want to keep those. Don't want the elephant so much. I'm not a big fan of the circus elephant situation. Thankfully, it's become a thing of the past in a lot of ways. Mostly. Okay. This one. PeeWee's cannon try is a bomb. That's fun. I wonder if I should try to add that now. I'll just keep that bit of text. Let's cut this out. I just think it will add nicely to the image. Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay. Come on, glue. And I will ink these a little bit after so they're not so stark white. Actually, should I put it down here? I don't know. Are we going to go with a circle? Or, you know, I've already kind of cut it a little into a circle, so I think that's going to be a limitation. And that's okay. Find my inker that has black ink on it. It's around here somewhere. Here it is. It's going to kind of put some black, just the leftover kind of black ink. It kind of just goes with the whole look of the image. Okay. So this side we've got two women and a man from the town are spying on the circus. Look, Nadine, says the first woman, Pee-wee Herman is covered with monkeys. Oh my gosh, cries Nadine suddenly. Don't look now, May, but the biggest pig I've ever seen looks like he likes you. Zsa Zsa chases all the spies away. So like these neighborhood ladies are, you know, being annoying, and the hippo comes along. Okay. He's still trying to get into the circus. Gina's trying to help him. And then he has this awesome costume. He's mixing up his recipe for his secret plant food. His hot tub tree shrinks. Now he has cocktail wieners. Oh my gosh. So I think I'm going to go with this fun costume image. Okay, and I got to be a little careful here. There we go. So we have this. And then over here I want the monkeys. Save our scraps. Now we have pitchforks and fire here. These neighborhood of crotchety old folks. Okay. So I think we're definitely going to go with the pig and Pee-wee. I don't necessarily think I want the angry townspeople. It just gets in the way of the, I don't know, the chill kind of feeling of this book. I do love these, like, as cutouts though, maybe. They'd be really fun to kind of cut out and like collage in the book. So maybe that's what we'll do with those. We can take the people out of the fire and anger. We got some kids. Oh, look at this elephant standing up wearing overalls. That just makes me more sad than anything though, so I'm not going to use that. I think I'll use her. She's really cute. Maybe our ringmaster. Because I don't think Chris Christopherson has made an impact yet. Oh, it's so cute. I don't know what to do with this. But you know what I think? This is about recognizing when we know something is wrong, even though we can take joy in how cute it is, it wasn't a good thing for the elephant. So we're going to say no to that. Finally, PeeWee gets into the act. Look at him show off on the high wire. Don't ever say he's chicken. And he has a chicken with him. That's cute. And then over here is that. And that's pretty cool. So I think this one, I might use like a booklet or as a folio. But would it be okay on its own? I think, yeah, it would be. So yeah, let's cut that one into a folio. And I think we'll cut from the bottom. Yeah. Actually, I'll take some of this top off because the top's got a little chunk on it. There we go. 7.5. There we are. So yeah, that can fold this way. And it can be used anywhere. It doesn't have to be a centerpiece. It can be either way because they both just look very cool. Okay, so that, I think, yeah, we've done the book. We've got it all sorted out. So I've got lots of ephemera to make with all these bits, right? So lots of bits to play with. Now this is what our project looks like. We've got this here for bits, and we've got a couple of these pages. I need to cut these ones down to folio size, so let's do that. 7.5 by 4.5. Okay. So now I think we can put, we can work on maybe covering up the folio bits that we know need to get covered, right? So let's sort this out. So this one has to go in the center. Let's do that. One. These need to be modified. That needs to be modified. So does that. Yeah. I think most of them probably do. Yeah, all of them do. Okay, so that's what's finished for now in the folios. Now I'll take all of these scraps of text, and these are going to be like afterthought kind of stuff, probably when I'm making ephemera or when I go through the book at the very end. I might decide to take some quotes and things and pop them on pages, glue them down to either ephemera or actually just on pages. So what I'll do is just kind of like keep them sort of separate. Maybe I'll put them underneath the felt scraps, so they're in here, but they're not like taking up a bunch of my thought process here. Okay. Managed. There we go. So what I'm thinking with these like back sides to the useful content is I want to dig into my scraps and like just cover them with fun scraps. So let's start with this one. This is fine. This is actually also fine, or you could put something there. Yeah, so now I think what I really need to just cover is this corner. So I'll look in my scraps and maybe just kind of find some fun bits like that. Like that would be a nicer, more kind of normal, you know, cover. So I need to get my glue book over here. And we'll just glue right over here. Yeah, go with that. And then I'm going to trim off the excess, and then I'll come in under the edge and add a little bit of art glitter glue. If it feels like the edges are going to lift at all. Just down here where I didn't get enough glue. There we go. That's all good. Okay. So this will become the center. Okay. Now this one, that side's fine. This side, I think I want to cover like the whole thing maybe. Unless we want to do like keep the top. I just want to be careful that I don't like create a situation where I leave a little bit of the words, you know, the dialogue in, and then it messes up like where I can put things in the book. So I think I'm actually going to cover the whole back here. I don't really feel like this gives me much value. It's not like nice images or important images. It's just about the townspeople being crusty. Okay. And I need a backing of, probably should have sorted out what the backing would be ahead of time, but I think I'll use packaging. That's kind of fun. And I'm actually going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch the edge. So now we will just trim the excess around, because we know that this, well actually we could probably do it on the trimmer, and we can leave a little excess if this is too small, right? Because I think sometimes, let's see, was this exactly 7.5? Yeah, it was. Okay, we can't then. Oh, but the sides, I think. So we said 4.5, and 4.5 is 9. So I think we can keep a little bit of this. We'll trim this right down to the edge. Okay, this can go to 9. And then this to 7.5. There we go. Okay, so that'll be another folio finished. This one, oh yeah, and it's got the cow there. That's what I wanted to save. But I'm sort of looking at it now and going, do I need to have it there? Because in some ways I kind of feel like I could just use the cow, and then it's going to be less work for me to try to cover that up. You know, I can just have the cow image. There. I was being silly on that one. Now this side, we want to keep that. That's very fun. But we need to cover the bottom, I think. Yeah. Maybe the bottom of this. Yeah. Maybe this whole bottom. Well, this whole page and then that whole side. Okay. What do we have? We've got this. This is old paper. It's not quite big enough. I could just use white paper, but it might be too light. Actually, no, that's pretty good. And I'll probably like ink it up or something. Let's do that. This is an old like crossword puzzle kind of. I love using up things like this. Turning it into fresh writing space. Okay. And this side, nice. And then I think I'll use, I just got this fun new color of ink, and I think I'll use it to ink everything. It's not that one. Here it is. I just gotta move my giant water bottle out of the way here. This one, it's Stormy Sky. I think that'll be fun. So let's grab this. This has got a little old ink on it. Maybe we'll just, because this is the center, we'll put that in the center, that bit of brown. There we go. Now we can go into the Stormy Sky, and so I don't cover up my whole desk with ink. Let's do it on here. So we'll go back over this again. Okay. That will fold that way, and this will fold this way. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so that'll be another folio. So we're at 4 signatures here. And then this one, that's got to be a center. That doesn't, right? Right, okay, we're good. So this will be the last of the folios, okay. Or the signatures, rather. Okay, so this one I said I just wanted to put a pocket down here. So what I'll do is to just remind myself of that, I'm just gonna draw like a line across here. Like we don't want the bearded lady. I'm good without her. This stays as is, and then this just needs a little something here. And then, you know, you can come in with an image from the book to just replace that, like this, the cow. So let's do that. So I think that's good, right like that. So we'll just trim off this little bit here. Just kind of marked it with my finger. I don't know if you see the line there, but there it is. And then we'll glue this on. Whoops, why did I take off the entire top of my glue here? There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's fun. So the cow did get used. All right, so then we'll put this here. Now let's just kind of look and see. So this is the start. That makes sense. This is, you know, the circus coming to town and him meeting her. That's good. This is his girlfriend, his other girlfriend getting mad about it. This is him kind of flying. It doesn't have any particular moment in time, although we could put that here to break that up. And then the end, you know, can be that. Yeah, that's good. All right, so then as we do these other folios and as we do the ephemera, we can kind of fit it in and think about, does it fit into a certain part of the story or not? So this, I think, I want to cover, I'm probably going to cover the entire thing. Yeah. Let me see if I have any paper over here. I gotta grab some from over here. I'm probably going to use the same paper. If I have any. I like that paper because it's thin. Like it's just regular, you know, drawing paper. And I think it'll be good. So let's just cover this whole back. That's there. I'm going to head to the sewing machine again. I'm going to stitch around that one, but I'll do it in a minute. Let's just see. I think we'll just cover these as well, right? So, seeing if I have any more brown. I don't think I have any more brown paper. Yeah, I got mostly white, and that's okay. Let's cover this one. Okay. One more to go. Move this out of the way. All right, so these all need to go to the sewing machine and get stitched. Okay, so these have all been stitched and we need to now put them in where they make sense in the book. So let's get the other folios here. So this one is like kind of, you know, toward the end, he finally gets into the circus. So we're going to go to the last thing here. And that is cute. That'll make sense. Yep, that'll make sense from a story, you know, point of view. And then here we have him. This is where he's still trying to figure it out, right? He's on the trapeze. So we've got this. Put that here. And then this is just generally the Cabrini circus and then, you know, the neighbors being up to no good. Maybe we'll put that here with this one. Possibly with this one. Let's see. Yeah, I think this one, because it's kind of a calamity that he's getting into. Yeah, that here. This one here, this one here. All right, so we've got the start of a journal. We've got a cover. Next steps are obviously going to be making a bunch of ephemera and finding the rest of the pages to go in here. Oh, this book feels so nice. I love it. But I got to find what's going to be the star of the show here. What's going on the front of my book? And do I want to use the big top PeeWee banner in a way, in a fun way, on the front? I think I do, in 2 pieces. So that'll be up on top. But then I gotta find like a cameo or something to go in here. So there's lots of cameos. Obviously we need to put PeeWee on the front. It's either going to be an image of him or a cameo. So I need it to be very like iconic. I'd prefer a round image, but we'll see. This also quite probably, because it's a cameo, or sorry, it's iconic, right? That would be fun, but it's not PeeWee. These are all fun. I'm probably very much going to do that one. And I can cut it into an oval shape if I want to. Yep, that's going to be the one. I think these would be the 2 options, and I'm going to go with this one because it's just so iconic. And then, of course, you know, we had the original that we could use. That's also possible, but I think I'll do something different with that. It's just funny. So I'm going to work on this next. I'm going to just grab a template. So here's my template. Obviously, you can do a die cut. I'm not like too concerned. I'm going to use this template because that's the big one. It's the nice one. So what I'll do is take a little bit of masking tape because I don't want anything to move. Just line this up. Yep, right there. So make that stay still. Maybe just one more piece here. I just want everything to just be still. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to come in with a marker. And obviously, if you want this to go faster, do a die cut. Okay. Okay. Lift off. Alrighty, now we need to just let that sit for a minute, and I'm gonna get some nice thick something to back this on. This is a box. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. I'm I'm just using art glitter glue for this one because I can't do any stitching of any kind on this. It's maybe too fine for what I want to do. So plop that up here. And this, we can just flip it over and we can use regular glue stick. Now what I'm going to do is just be a little careful because that particular marker is, you'll see it's not like waterproof or whatever. Not a big deal though, nothing to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to cut these apart and then we're going to cut this out. We'll start with these scissors and then I'm going to move to my fussy cutting scissors because they're going to do a nicer job. Okay, that's done. And then I'm going to grab baby wipe. And I'm just going to pull away. It's not going to completely remove it, but it's going to get the excess off. And there's a reason that I want to do this. I will show you soon. Okay, let that sit and just fully dry. Throw away all this we don't need. And then we're going to come in and get the, oh, this needs to get glued down. The big top PeeWee banner. So we're going to cut this into 2 pieces because it's too wide for the book. So let's start with this piece. Okay, just gotta be a little mindful. Oops. All the excess extra paper off, it makes it easier to cut around the more little details so you don't have all that paper hanging there. Okay, so you get the idea, right, of what I'm doing. I'm cutting all this out. I've thickened it up on a heavier, like a cardstock box board. So I'll finish cutting these out and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've got everything cut out and kind of placed on top of the book how I think I'm going to want it to go. But what I want to do is literally turn this into a cameo using glossy accents. And I think I might do the same on both of these pieces. So, but before I do that, I'm going to use my Ranger archival ink, which is waterproof, and just kind of go around the edges. Because see that white there? I don't want to see that on the side when I'm looking at the book from the side. I want it to be black. There we go, that is much better. Nice. And then same is probably also true for these, but it's going to be a little bit more nitpicky, and I'm going to have to get my one of my inkers out to get in the little nooks and crannies. And this is just the picky stuff that I do when I'm making a cover, especially because you really want your cover to be refined, right? So that's what I'm going to do, but this is where I will conclude today. You'll see more of this book. I mean, at minimum, you will see the flip through, but probably I'll make another video on it. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing me get started on this book, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.